Appreciate you clicking on this video. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. We're talking broadheads. What are your thoughts on broadhead testing so far? What broadheads are you running this fall? I love talking broadheads, so leave me a comment. Let me know what you're running, what your thoughts are. Two of the probably most popular ones today are going to be tested, and realistically they might be 1A and 1B, but we're going to get into it. We're going to put them to the test. We're going to pick one and move forward. So let's get to it. All right, today, probably the two most popular broadheads right now. We've got a Beast, and this isn't the new cut on contact or the titanium or whatever. It's just your initial Beast broadhead. I bought a pack of these, I guess last year. It was two of these and the practice head. I think it was like 80 something bucks or 80 bucks. So two broadheads, about 40 bucks a piece for those broadheads. Pretty expensive, but they do have some technology in them that I don't see in others. So that's what I think is pretty unique about the Beast. And then we've got the G5 Megameat. Again, probably one of the most, these two are probably the most popular right now. Like if you ask somebody what they're running, they probably have one of these two in their quiver. And for good reason, right? I hunted with both of these. I did not shoot a deer with these last year. I did shoot a deer with these last year. And kind of what started this whole quest is I shot a buck with this last year, a little buck. He wasn't some stellar buck or anything, but I made what I felt like was a perfect shot. I mean, perfect shot, right where you want it to be. I just chalked him up. He's dead. He's going to be at the bottom of this hill. We're going to find him. You know, these Megameats are brutal. I've blood trailed with Megameats with other people that have shot them, and they're brutal. So I thought, he's a goner. The arrow did not go through. It went in him, and then he ran for a while, and it came out, you know, 20, 30, 40 yards down the hill. When I got to it, I was looking at it. One of the blades was bent. I don't know how well the pictures will show it, but one of the blades was clearly bent, like it must have caught a rib or something on the other side and didn't go through, and that's why I didn't get that pass through. He went a long ways. We ended up finding him. The coyotes had gotten to him first, so we didn't get any of the meat, but he went, I think when we trailed it with Onyx, it was like 500 yards, something crazy. Down one ridge, up another ridge, down another ridge, up another ridge. I mean, it was just crazy, the amount of hiking we had to do to get this deer. And again, based on when we found him, the shot looked perfect. I have no clue what happened or why he didn't die quicker. Shooting 70 pounds, you know, shooting a good arrow, shooting a good bow, no issues there. But it made me think, are these three blades a problem getting that pass through? Because an entry's good, but the other side is what gets you the good blood trail and helps you find and recover the animal. And we almost didn't recover this animal, even though the shot was about perfect, and you know, the blood trail was okay, and then it got bad because there wasn't an exit wound, there was only an entry wound. I did also watch a buddy of mine shoot one of these in the chest cavity once, though, straight on, and it didn't go out the other side, but the blood was just insane, and the deer didn't go far at all. So I don't know, I'm torn on the Megameats. Let me know your thoughts on them. I think pass-throughs with Megameats are going to be tougher because you've got three blades as opposed to two. The Beast should get perfect pass-throughs because the spring that allows the blades to kind of bend around ribs and keep going and not losing energy, you know, that's the whole point of these, is so hopefully you get that pass-through. I think that's why they're super popular, and that's why you're seeing people pay the extra money for these, so that you're getting pass-throughs. It's a tough broadhead. It's a good one. We'll see how it shoots, how it performs side by side against another really good one. So let's get to quality control. All right, so we're only going to have two of each of these. We don't have three like we did in the others because I shot one of these last year and it bent the blades and I didn't get the broadhead out of the woods for some reason. And then I only have a 2-pack of these because I got the 2-pack with the test head. So there's that. These should be 100 grains. The Megameats, 101. 101, so they are consistent. And if you listen to some of the podcasts from, I guess the Evolution Outdoors guys, he talks about the more of these blades and ferrules and clips and the more things you have, the more ability you have to get something a little off. So, and that, you know, that makes sense why this would be off a little bit because there's a lot going on there. The Beast broadheads, 102, 102, 103. So this one's 103, so a little more inconsistent with the Beast, but they're all just slightly over 100. G5 might be a touch more accurate on that. So what we'll do on the actual cutting diameter is we'll measure that after we shoot them, because they are actually, you know what? We'll do it right here. I got the little finger things. Okay, so there's that. We'll have to unclip these. Now, that's a big old cut. That's going to be, obviously that's tough to compete with 3 mechanical blades. So the Megameat is going to come in with the widest diameter of the cut. At 1.775, 1.780. It's tough to do because these are kind of flopping around. So not quite 2 inches, but you get that 3 ways. You get that an whole extra blade there. So 1.75 is the widest cut. The Beast does have a wider cut at this one's 2 1/4, 2.260, but you lose a whole blade that this one has. This one has that 3rd blade and the little clip system. So pros and cons, again, wider cut, but a whole extra blade for cutting. So both of these are going to be brutal. All right, we're going to go check accuracy. The G5 Megameats are on white fletchings. The Beast Broadheads are on yellow fletching. We'll have a practice arrow out there with yellow fletchings and a 100-grain tip. If you're first time watching this, obviously you need to go watch all the testings. The whole bracket is really cool to watch and see them compare and test. But this particular arrow, if you're into the stats, is 293 feet a second out of a 70-pound Tritech 33, Darton Tritech 33. It's 409 grains. Again, 409 grains moving at 293 feet a second, 14.9 FOC if Podium Archery's FOC calculator is correct. So pretty heavy FOC, moving about an average, what I would consider an average deer hunter's speed at like that 290s mark. So that's what we're running. All right, so we got a block down there, probably more over here. 57 yards, so about a 60-yard shot. This Darton Tritech. We'll shoot a practice arrow first, just to make sure we're on. So that way we can't say it's not the bow or the sight or we're not sighted in. We're sighted in. So arrow 1, practice tip. Just a touch low left, but not bad. All right, first up, G5 Megameat. I think it's left there with it. Next up, G5 Megameat. That one's right in there, close to that practice tip. Next up, Beast Broadhead. Just a touch left. That one's right in there with them. All right, so kind of expected. They're all kind of the same. They're all really similar, which is kind of what I expected because they're all really good broadheads. So let's shove that yellow one back out. So now that we've got them back out, this yellow one right here is our practice tip. It sunk into the fletchings. These two are our Megameats, and they are the worst of the two groups. Not that either one of them are perfect, but this is kind of where we're hitting with our standard field point. We've got these two are a little bit, our white ones are a little worse, which are our Megameats. Now, however, the white ones did come out the other side of the broadhead, or the target. Not that that means everything, but you can see our Megameats have come out the backside, whereas our Beast did not. This one looks like one blade didn't deploy on this one. I guess it could have potentially deployed and then got closed back, but like it just happened to clip perfectly into that blue clip. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but the Megameats did come out the other side. The Beast didn't necessarily do that. But as far as groups go, I think the Beast is closest. All right, up next, durability test. The Beast is going to go first. Woo! I can hear pieces of metal flying from that one. Don't think that ended well. All right, this is the Beast, and this is the Megameat. Megameat, you can see where all 3 blades deployed, cut good. The Beast, because it's spring-loaded, I don't really see a whole lot of the blades opening. This one's just a little bit out. I don't know if you can see it there. This one's a little bit out compared to that one. I think, that one may just be a thinner cut, but they're not out like fully deployed, which is probably what's going to help it get those pass-throughs. Is this one's catching a lot of drag. It's catching skin, hair, bone as it's entering the deer, whereas this one's entering pretty small, but hopefully going all the way through. On the backside, the Beast actually looks more like more wood is blown back compared to the Megameat. So kind of an interesting comparison, the entry versus the exit on the other side. The Beast is a little more blown out from the Megameat, but the Megameat definitely is going to have that bigger cut as an entry. The initial look after hitting the plywood, the Megameat's gone. It's gone. I think they might offer kits that you can order through G5 to replace the blades, but I don't really know how you would do it, because the blades are, I don't see how you could undo those blades. Now somebody who's you've been using them longer maybe could tell me, but there's not a screw or anything here that you could take that blade out. But I mean, that is inherently the problem. If you hit something, the blades are going to get bent or blown off in this case, and you're not going to be able to, like, it's not going to continue that energy that it had. If somebody knows how to get the blades off, I don't see you unscrew the ferrule maybe, but I don't, without cutting my finger on this, let me know. There's no screws on it to replace the blades on this, but yeah, not super durable in this case. So the Beast Broadhead, I had to pull it out of the target. The cut on the target was huge. Like the entry wound to the wood was small. The target itself that it went in had that 2.25 inch cut. I had to pull it out backwards, which I generally do not recommend because these blades start pulling the other way and they're hard to get out, and you're a chance you're going to rip something. So if it's broke, I don't know that it is, it would probably be from being pulled backwards. The tip is still really sharp. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera or not without, there we go maybe. The tip's very sharp, the blades look good. I don't see anything, there might be a little nick on the blades up here towards this front, and that might actually be from being pulled forward because it looks like it's in the exact same spot and it's right about where they would hit that tip if you pulled it backwards. So that's probably what that little nick on the blade is. But the blades themselves seem good, no issues. I mean, they're probably duller than they initially were, but in reality, you close that up and go back to hunting. So durability goes to the Beast. So let's talk the scores, because that's really what's going to decide who moves on, who doesn't. As far as accuracy, none of them were just perfect as far as hitting exactly, tight group or anything you can wrap your hand around. The Tooth of the Arrow group was by far the best group of any of them that we've shot. But the Beast was close. There was just one on each side of the practice tip. So pretty good, not perfect. So I'm giving them a 24 because obviously the Tooth of the Arrow was better. So they wouldn't be a 25 then if that's the case. Megameats were a little wider, height was just a little bit higher, but they were just a little farther apart. So I'm giving them a 22. Still not bad, but just not as close as the Beast, and the Beast wasn't as good as the Tooth of the Arrow. So you can't, I mean, you couldn't give it any higher than a 23 at least. Price and value, Beast are $85 for 3, and there's a ton of variables you could get with the Beast. Practice heads, two heads, and then a practice, or 3 heads, cut on contact, 2 and 3, whatever. I mean, there's a ton of variables, but price-wise, they're just expensive. And so I gave them a 15 for price. If 40 is kind of the midline, and you might be able to say, well, they're justified at 85 because of the technology and the innovation and the pass-through and how strong they are. Sure, but they're expensive still. Nonetheless, they're still expensive. Not that the Megameats aren't expensive either. They're just a click under that. So I gave them a 17 for price. Now, I will say at least with them, you get a practice head, I'm pretty sure, and I think they send some extra blue clips. So you at least get a little bit of something with it, but the price is still, for something that blew up when you shot it at something hard, that just seems overkill on price to me. Wound channel, I gave them both a 15 for different reasons. If the Megameat goes through, it's going to be nasty. It's going to cut, it's going to be nasty. If all 3 blades open, it's going to be just gnarly. But it may not go through, and it's probably one and done. It's probably one shot and done, because it's going to be broke, bent, whatever. So the wound channel is going to be great if it goes through. The Beast has a super wide over 2-inch cut, and it's going to probably go through. Once it, it's going to enter, it's going to exit, which is where you're going to get that cool blood trail. So that's a 15 as well, just for different reasons. Both are going to be good wound channels. Durability, I had to give the Megameat a 10 because, again, it blew up. Like, every blade's destroyed on that. Now, that plywood is probably not apples to apples deer hunting. I get that, sure. But it's a good medium that we've all got that we can go, how did it do going through that? And every other Broadhead basically went through it without a problem. The Megameats destroyed when they went through them. So hit them pretty hard on durability. The Beast, no issues. I think the only dings on the blade were from being pulled out backwards because I couldn't get it to go forward anymore. So durability for the Beast was fantastic. Quality control, I knocked the Beast just a little because it was a touch heavier than the Megameat. The Megameats were like 101. I think the Beast were like 103, 104, something like that. So both good scores, but these were not as accurate as the Megameats were at weight. And cut-wise, diameter, they were both really good. And I don't know what the Megameats were even supposed to be, but it was really wide and a lot of cut. So quality control, good on both of them. Features, I gave the Megameats a 10 because they do come with clips and a practice head. The Beast, depending on which kit you get, if you're going to get 3 Broadheads, like the 3 Megameats, you're probably not getting a practice tip. The practice tip, I think, comes with the 2 Broadhead package, so I knocked them a little bit for that. Overall scores, an 89 for the Megameat, 91 for the Beast. So the Beast is going to move on. Both really good. Neither of these scores are bad. I mean, that 89 is what a lot of them have got. The biggest thing is the durability. If it could just not blow up when you hit something hard, or bend when you hit something hard, you would go, this is the better one because that wound channel is going to be nasty. Accuracy, I'm sure we could keep shooting, if we shot 5 rounds, if we had enough Broadheads, we could probably get that group to tighten up. I mean, it's not that bad. It wasn't like they were hitting way left or anything. It was just a little wider than the Megameat. Now, the Beast, super aerodynamic. Like, there's nothing really sticking out. The Megameat has 3 different things all folded up, sticking out on the outside. So it's going to create some more drag. So in theory, it probably shouldn't be as accurate as the Beast, but good score, Beast, good score. Beast is moving on to the next round. I appreciate you watching this video. This is the end of round 1. I will do a video kind of the thoughts of round 1 here in a little bit, but the Beast moving on, both of these could be number 1 and 2 in reality. If the Beast were to win, you could probably go, well, Megameat should have been number 2. I'm not saying the Beast will win, but it's a strong contender for obvious reasons. It's a great Broadhead. Tons of people are willing to pay $100 for 3 of them. It must be good. But all that to say, stick around for the next round. The second round is going to be a little different. Leave a comment. How would you like to see these tested? What would you like to see? What's important to you? Maybe being off a few grains isn't important to you. So let me know. Let me know what you do want to see tested for the second round that's coming up. Like, subscribe, stick around, leave a comment. Check out Rambo Bikes. Use TripleRwoods at checkout. I'm fixing to get on my Rambo bike and go hang some cameras. You should too. Black Flag, TripleRwoods at checkout, Palmetto Precision Strings, go check them out. They're linked down below. You need to get your strings ordered so you'll have them on, have them tuned, be ready to shoot by deer season. So have a good one.